Coast to Coast to Cruise.
Oh my God, that was so much fun!
All right, Steven, are you there?
Yes, I am. How's it going?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well.
Very good. You are live on In the Loop. Legend, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to have Adventureland on the show here because I believe within the last week and a half or 2 weeks, they've announced that they are going to be retiring their old Hurricane roller coaster and installing a new spinning roller coaster next year. And if you guys have listened to the show for a long time, you know Adventureland's sort of the park of my youth. I grew up about 10 or 15 minutes away from Adventureland, so the start of my roller coaster obsession, you can really point to Adventureland being one of those parks. So when I knew that they were making this big move, I immediately tried to get somebody on the show. And Steven A, we want to welcome you to the show. Obviously not Steven A from ESPN, but Steven A from Adventureland.
Yeah, Steven A from Adventureland. It's actually a long story. It's I'm actually, if you guys don't know, Adventureland's a family business on Long Island, and I'm actually part of that family. So to distinguish the difference between me and my dad, I like to use my middle initial. So that's where the Steven A comes into place.
There you go. All right. I did not know Adventureland was a family business, actually.
No, it is, yeah. And well, Adventureland's been around since 1962, and then in the late 1970s, my family actually got involved. My grandfather got involved with it, and since the 77, I believe it was, our family's been involved with the operations and everything here at Adventureland.
Very cool. So we always like to start our guest off with telling about how they got started. And so how have you gotten started with Adventureland? Are you always in this role, or do you work your way up?
Yeah, I started from the bottom. I'm actually right now I'm 21 years old, so I'm still learning a lot of things. But I actually started when I was like 12, 13 years old. I started sweeping floor, cleaning tables. I was just doing some of the start from the bottom, and as the years went on, I took on different tasks. I was working in the food stands and the games, and now I'm a supervisor here, doing a little bit of everything, getting my feet wet with everything in the business.
Very cool. That must be interesting. You know, the family business is always something interesting. Now, your father's been doing this since '72. You said?
Since '77, my grandfather got involved, and then as the years went on, he kind of passed it off to my dad and his brother, so my uncle. And unfortunately, last year my grandfather passed away, so now it's kind of the transition's been a little tough. But now my dad and my uncle are running the show, and me and my brother hopefully next in line, and we're trying to learn as much as we can now while we're young.
Very cool. And I mean, obviously, if you've been doing this for 8 years now at 21, that's a pretty good number of years to have under your belt at such a young age. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now, we
obviously things to learn, though.
Oh, of course. Now, I mean, there's people that's been in the business probably 50 years, and they're still learning new stuff. So there's always something, and plus it's always changing. There's always new technology and stuff like that.
Yes, that's 100% correct.
All right, so let's talk about this. When did you guys make the decision, or how long has this been in the works to either replace the Hurricane or add a new roller coaster? How long has this project been, sort of in the ideas?
It's been on our minds for the past 5 years or so. It's definitely been a difficult decision for us to make because for anyone that grows up on Long Island, everyone's been on the Hurricane. It's an iconic roller coaster here on Long Island. So the decision definitely was not easy, but we've definitely thought about it. There's been a lot of discussions about it, and we finally came to the decision to go with the spinning coaster. We think it's going to be a great ride here.
And plus, if you haven't been to Adventureland before, it's a smaller amusement park. It's very little room to expand, and there's really no way to put anything in without taking something else out.
That's correct. That's one of the biggest challenges we face is trying to grow and expand because we really can't because there's a lot of like industrial buildings and stuff around us. So we're really working with what we have. So when we decided that we wanted to get the new coaster, obviously something's got to come out, and the Hurricane is the best spot for it to go, or the only spot for it to go. So the Hurricane's going to have to come out, and we're going to put in a new roller coaster next year.
And now, is the Hurricane going to run until the end of the season, or is it going to shut down mid-season?
It's going to run probably until September, October. It's going to go all through the summer, but our season ends at the end of Halloween, so October 31st. It's probably going to shut down early, probably September-ish, beginning of October.
Gotcha. I know. I'll be in New York in about a week and a half. I'll be back home to visit the parents and stuff like that. And after you guys announced the hurricane is closing, even though I have pretty much the exact same ride about 10 minutes away over at Old Town, I've got to go and ride the hurricane one last time because it's something I grew up with.
Definitely.
Now, out with the old and in with the new, what could you tell us about this new spinning roller coaster? We've seen some of the concept art on your Facebook page and things like that.
Yeah, well, the new coaster, it's made by Mach. It's going to be almost the same size as the Hurricane. They're both good. The Hurricane is like about 55 feet tall. The new coaster is going to be roughly the same height, 55 feet tall. The new coaster is going to be a little faster. It's going to go 40 miles per hour compared to the Hurricane at 35 miles per hour. One of the biggest things for us too is right now the Hurricane, the height requirement is 48 inches. The new coaster, the height requirement is actually going to be 42 inches. So it's a 6-inch difference, which allows for more younger kids to go on the ride. So now they'll be coming to Adventureland, they'll be able to ride 2 roller coasters here instead of just one, which pretty much goes with our family park atmosphere, which is what we're aiming for. So that was a big part of our decision as well. But other than that, they're both 45-second rides, so that's going to be the same. The length of the ride is going to be the same, and there's going to be 2 trains that hold 12 riders per train. So basically, all that's going to be the same. And one of the biggest differences is it's a spinning coaster. So many people on Long Island may not have ridden one of those before, but there's going to be 3 cars on each train, and each car spins. So if you go on the ride 2 times in a row, it might feel like a different ride. So no ride is going to be the same because you're going to be spinning different ways depending on the weight in the car.
Yeah, and even spinning coasters, there's a lot of different types of spinning coasters. And I know Mach in the United States, I don't think they have many at all. It's the one at Knott's Berry. Drew, do you know if the Knott's Berry Farm one is one?
I don't know. The trains look similar. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
The
Knott's
Berry Farm, I believe, is a spinning coaster. Believe it or not, my family, there was like 18 of us. We actually went to California to ride that coaster, which was a big part of our decision. Because
looking at the trains, I mean, I've been out to Knott's, and they looked very similar, so I figured it was going to be sort of a more extreme version of that ride.
Yeah, I think that's what we were aiming for. The coaster that we're getting is custom designed by Mach for our space that we have available, and I think they were basing most of it off of the, I believe it's a Sidewinder in the Knott's Berry Farm.
Yep, that's the one.
We were curious, do you guys have a price tag for how much this coaster is costing you guys?
We do, but I don't have that information.
I'm
not sure what that is.
Alrighty. Well, I know it's something I'm excited about. When do you think this ride is going to open next season?
Well, we're aiming for the spring of 2015. Hopefully, we're aiming for the first week, the opening day, which is usually the end of March. But if that's not really as soon as we can, as soon as possible by March 31st or April 1st. That's our goal, at least.
Gotcha. My birthday, so it'll be perfect April 1st. Now, one question I have for you, being as somebody like myself that grew up with Adventureland, and it's obviously with Adventureland, it's not like some parks where the rides are there forever, and Adventureland, the ride lineup's always changing. And that, as somebody that grew up with the park like myself, if you had one ride that you could bring back from the dead and put back in Adventureland, which one would it be?
That's a very interesting question, because I think depending on who you ask and what generation or what decade they're from, the answers would be different, because there's so many famous rides that we had here, between whether it's the toboggan or the Galaxy coaster or the bumper boats or the looping star. But for me, being that I grew up through the 90s, and the one ride that as I got older I was finally tall enough to go on was the surf dance.
All right.
That was a very interesting ride. Like I know I was always scared on it, but it was a beautiful ride, and that's probably one of the rides I would bring back if I could.
Good answer. You know, surf dance was probably in my top 3. I would say for me it would be 1313 Cemetery Way, and then maybe surf dance. So those are my favorites, and I'm excited. I'll be there this year. I know it's definitely on my list. I try and get back to visit the parents every year, and they're still on Long Island, so I'm definitely going to have to get back up there next year and try your new ride, which you don't have a name yet for it, right?
We do not have a name. We're actually we're having a contest online for all of our fans to go. You can go online on our adventureland.us on our website, and you could help us name the contest, name the roller coaster. we actually our team already came up with 5 names and a logo that you'll find on the page. Those 5 names we have are Turbulence, the Boomerang, the Rotator, Mantis, and the Jester. So we narrowed it down to those 5. So if you go on and you want to vote for the name of the coaster, you could pick. You need to pick one of those 5. And then you can also enter your own name that you think what you think it should be. And then when it comes time, our team's going to sit down, look at what everyone wants it to be, and then the winner of the contest is going to get a 3-year season pass.
Oh.
So for the next 3 years, they'll be able to ride the ride and all the rides for free.
Good deal. Clint, you're a creative guy. Do you got any names off the top of your head?
Well, I mean, the one thing that the Legend already has a roller coaster named after him. So I was, and then they already picked Drew's nickname, the Gesture. So I would think that that's what they should probably go with, because then Drew would have a coaster named after him.
There we go.
Yeah, you guys got to go on the website and vote for it.
All right. Does anyone have any more questions for Steven A here?
I'm good.
There's actually one more interesting fact is we're having like a donation for the last ride on the Hurricane. So if you wanted to be one of the last riders, you could again go to our website and you can donate to two foundations, JDRF and NSSA, and the top 6 donors for each cause is going to be guaranteed a seat on the last ride, and that's going to be a pretty another interesting contest we're having. To if you want to ride the Hurricane for the very last time, you can.
So you actually have to make the donation first, and then somebody could still bump you out by making a bigger donation?
Yes, that's true. Well, there's 2 trains, as you know, and each train has 12 seats. So the JDRF train is going to be the yellow train, and the NSSA train will be the red train. And if you pick whatever cause you want to donate to, and the top 6 for each, the top $6 amounts for each cause will be guaranteed a seat, and then everyone else who donated for that cause will be randomly picked for this last 6 riders, and then those 12 people will get to. Well, 24 really will be the last ones to ride the Hurricane.
That's genius, because then you're making people, actually make instead of you making the pledge, I'll donate this much, then they can beat each other out. You're actually making them make the donation, and then they could be beaten out the next day.
Yes,
and they still have
correct.
a chance to ride it, but then it goes into the random poll. I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so that's another thing we're pretty excited about to see how that goes.
And then afterwards, you can just take a piece of the coaster with you home, right?
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Challenge accepted.
All right, very good. Anything else?
No, that's all I had. Steven A, thanks for coming on the show. Look forward to getting back to Adventureland in about 2 weeks' time, get my last rides, and then I'll see you out there next year for the new roller coaster.
All right, sounds good. We hope to see you guys soon.
All right, thanks for stopping by. That is Steven. He is the Park Supervisor at Adventureland there. So